Okay, so it's been a little while since I made a video, but I figured I'd go ahead and make one because things are getting pretty nutty. So I'm going to start with this. Though last week, the FBI searched Giuliani's home and office, seizing phones, computers. But they didn't take Giuliani's the hard drive for that he's been holding on to. Hunter Biden's hard drives weren't interested in that. So it's painfully obvious that this was this is a targeted political thing. You know, the the whole case is this whole investigation. It's a witch hunt. We know it is. It's not going to go anywhere. But it highlights the broader theme of this video in that we're coming undone. Um, and other news. In a previous video, I had talked about there was some talk in France of all places, that leftist ideology coming from the United States was going to destroy France. And now generals sent out a bunch of ex generals and current officers serving in the French military put out a letter warning of civil conflict. And they're going to be in trouble now, I guess. Um, because they're just they're just trying to. France is just Macron. He's just trying to sweep it under the rug. You know, it's I don't know. It's just a broader. You can kind of get an idea when you look at it from the outside. Looking in, you can kind of see what they're talking about. How this. But in France this week, 20 retired military generals, 80 officers, and 1,000 lower ranking soldiers signed an open letter expressing concerns over mortal dangers they say face the republic. President Macron's government has instructed the Army Chief of Staff to discipline the signatories for inciting insurrection. The letter bears close attention on several grounds, although the signatories warn they wish to act only after the outbreak of civil conflict. Macron's response shows the government understands the situation has already deteriorated to a point where a true coup or uprising, an event quite unlike the sham ordeal in Washington on January 6th, might erupt at the slightest provocation. This fearsome possibility is made all the more apparent by Harris Interactive polling, which says 58% of the French people support the letter's signatories, despite strenuous elite attempts to delegitimize even thinking such thoughts. 84% of those polled can see that violence in the country is increasing daily. A full 73% agree France is in decline. And, and they've had they've had a lot of they've had a lot of problems with, like that teacher that got beheaded by some Muslim guy or something. I can't remember the full story, but they it wasn't like they were trying to incite some kind of insurrection. When you actually read the letter, which they have it here on AmericanMind.org, you know, said hours late, France is in peril, threatened by several mortal dangers. Though retired, we remain soldiers of France and cannot, under the present circumstances, remain indifferent to the fate of our country. You know, yeah, and honestly, I think as bad as it is over there, it's worse here. So recently, Antifa put out a death threat against Ted Wheeler. I'm sure that video's made the rounds by now, but they Portland Antifa, and they already found who it was, but this guy, the guy who runs this account, Hayes. I think they found his name. The ATF's not gonna, or not the ATF. The FBI. Apparently, the FBI got involved. We'll see if they'll do anything. Probably not, though. This guy's. He tried to do it anonymously, but you could clearly see he's got a picture of the same mask. Pretty funny. You've got the Chauvin trial is not done. It's the Chauvin trial is not done. A lot of stuff. That trial was. It's not going to be good. They're going to be surprised if they didn't manage to overturn this whole thing. When it came out that one of the jurors was one of these BLM activists, it's hard to find. You're definitely not going to find a fair jury in the city of Minneapolis. It's just not going to happen. The guy's trying to make all kinds of excuses now. He's been on camera multiple times wearing the BLM shirt. Wearing a George Floyd BLM shirt. So, at protests and everything else. So, in other news, consumer prices have skyrocketed. If you haven't been paying attention to that, and I really don't know what to tell you. It's going to keep going up. They're going to keep printing money. If you've looked at Joe Biden's tax plan or whatever, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. But here we have, just from the other day, a gun standoff ensues during protest between BLM activists and restaurant patrons who just weren't having it. Okay. So, armed BLM protesters, started harassing people at this restaurant. Now, you know, I don't know what else was. Some of the BLM people had rifles and handguns. You got this guy. This guy right here. He had a. Looks like he's got a Derringer. You know, you got to pick your battles. You're not gonna win that particular. You know, I don't know why this guy's got a little Derringer. Why that's his the weapon that he decided to carry with him that day. I don't know, but I know watching the video. This guy's carrying. This guy's carrying. This guy's carrying. You know, I think they said five. Yeah, they said 5 people were arrested. Um, and it's stuff like this going to keep happening. But seriously, you know, you're gonna if you're gonna go down that road where you really have to pick your battles. You know, you're not gonna win that. You're gonna have a hard time winning that fight regardless, but you're definitely not gonna win that fight with the Derringer. Just saying. But on to the biggest news. I, there's the lines are already being drawn. The factions are coming together, and you know that you've got recently BLM has been kind of breaking away from Antifa, and now there's this group, Black Hammer. I don't know where the hell they came from. They just kind of came out of nowhere, but they're a militant group trying to. I'll give you a little bit of background. They're trying to. Apparently, they got 200 acres of land in Colorado to create a black ethno communist state. They're they're pretty crazy. They're up in the mountains. You know, honestly, whatever, right? If they go up into the mountains and stay by themselves, I guess it's whatever. But you know, it never ends up that way. Um, but yeah, they put out. I'm gonna play this video. It's a little freaky. This guy's a little weird, but watch one too many Joker movies or something. I don't know.
Hello, Antifa. It's me, Ghazi, the Commander-in-Chief of the Black Hammer Organization. Land back? Land back! Land back? Land back! I heard you had some not-so-nice things to say about me. I heard you had so nice things to say about my hammers. I heard you had not-so-nice things to do to one of my members. One of my dear, dear members. An African Filipino mother that you doxed and thought you could get away with it, thought we were gonna back down, thought we were gonna take it. No, that's not gonna happen. You messed with the wrong.
Okay, so you could you could see the factions are starting to organize, right? You've got Antifa, you've got Black Hammer, you've got BLM, which more or less now, I mean, if you've seen, BLM just updated their list of demands or whatever, and the first like four things are about Trump. So they're working for the Democrats 100% at this point. Um, and everyone knows it. Even these guys know it. I, they but you could see, just like in most civil wars, most modern civil wars, there's usually not just one faction, it's multiple factions. you know Recently I've seen there's been some drama between, a little bit of drama between Patriots and Proud Boys. I haven't really been paying too much attention to it, but so I don't know what the story is there. But I guess that line's kind of being drawn there too. So right now, as far as I know, and there's probably more, but you've got Antifa, BLM, Black Hammer, um, Proud Boys, Patriots. There's you've got various militia groups, NFAC. Um, you've got right wing militia groups. Probably there's probably quite a bit of them. I'm not sure, but the factions are out there. I guess though, if I was, I can't be that bad. I mean, you're gonna see these guys coming from a mile away. They look pretty ridiculous. So that's pretty much it. We're this is it, people. We are in the decline. The We are definitely in the decline. There's no doubt about it. Um, I guess just try to get ready because it's not going to get better as things continue to degrade. And there's talk about, Arizona Arizona being one of these, the investigation or the audit. There's talk that, you know I think it's a stretch, but there's talk that the election would get overturned. Do you really think that that's going to work? Could you imagine what would really happen if, come like August, they said actually Joe Biden's not president? It would that would be it. That would I think that would really kick things off pretty hard. But I'm gonna leave it there.